Hey, we're live.
It's still
Can you
setting
hear
up.
me?
Mm-hmm. Do you see it?
Okay.
Okay, now we are.
Okay. So, hey, everybody. I'm sorry. Hey, everybody. Excuse my voice is still gone after all of these weeks. I don't know where it is, but it's gone. Welcome to 40 with you and Robin.
Hey, everyone. Uh-oh. Make sure they're not doubling. Yes.
What's happening? What are we having a playback or something?
Okay, this is after.
What happened?
We're in we're in Zoom and we're in live. Hold on. They have us in both places.
Oh, okay. So,
But I think we're being heard in both, right? Which is cool, but we don't want to necessarily hear us. So maybe our little administrator.
okay. So, what we're going to do, we're just going to keep talking, and the other feedback that you hear is just going to be playing in the background so we can get through today's episode.
Oh, wait. Okay, I'm gonna come off. We can't do both. What are you doing that? Wait. Okay, let's see. This is not. Okay, so this is us now. We're just gonna keep going, guys, because I can hear a little bit of feedback in the back, and um, we're just gonna turn this down. When it rains, it pours, ladies and gentlemen. And so we're online
Devil.
in Zoom too. So this is our first time trying this, so bear with us. And it's still loud, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm just gonna mute her, and we'll just repost.
Right.
Mute. There we go. Oh,
Okay.
quiet.
All
Man.
right. So, it wouldn't be 40 without some technical difficulties. I don't know why that is, but we're just going to take it as a test, right? We're
Yeah.
going to take it as a test. So, yeah, welcome to 40 with you and Rob.
Welcome.
And tell them where we are, Robin.
We are a vlogcast all about life in your 40s and beyond.
That's right. And that's a beautiful age where you are old enough to know.
but still young enough to grow.
Yes, girl, yes. All right. That's your girl, Yuba.
It's your girl Robyn, and
And again, welcome.
you're
If
in
you've
the
never
house.
seen us
Thank
before,
you, House Before Tea, for joining
yes,
us or looking later on YouTube. And let us
yes,
know, DM us if there's any issues, and we'll repost the video.
absolutely. So we are on, if this is your first time tuning in, please hit that like and subscribe button wherever it is underneath us right here. Okay. Um, we've been going since February of this year for your birthday, and we've been having some technical difficulties, but we've been having fun and we've been posting some very good content. So, it says this meeting is okay. There we go. I had no idea what happened.
We're recording this right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. All right. So again, we've been having fun along the way, but it's going to get greater later. So as you tuned in,
The content is
and
great.
thanks for joining us. And we are going to jump right into, this is not my usual voice, so excuse me. We're going to jump right into this week's topic, which is,
Let me see. This week's topic is, that's on you, that's on you.
oh, sorry, soulmate or soulmate. What are we talking about? Is monogamy a thing of the past? Whew. Okay. So with recent news of my girl Jada and Will, they are the topic of conversation. Not them solely, but it's very interesting that he recently came forward after all of the entanglement stuff. Recently came forward and said that they're not having a monogamous relationship. Um, and he's okay with that. They're having an open marriage, is what they call it, an open marriage. And we're just gonna break down what that means in layman's terms. um, and why some people agree or disagree with their decision. Not that it really matters to them, but they just bought an $11 million mansion, by the way, a new one.
Oh
So
wow!
they're not thinking about what we have to say. But just the topic in general, is it a thing of the past? Because we've noticing a trend, and so we're gonna get in and talk about that right now. Robyn, what do you think about this?
I think the term that they call themselves, which is interesting, is life partners. And I first saw this because Jada mentioned it on her show. I think even before the situation with, I actually know, because of the situation with August Alsina, she was forced to talk about it on the show. Her and Will were forced to do a table talk just with each other. And what they
Right.
wanted to call themselves is life partners, because they found themselves, with Jada particularly, not being happy. She never really wanted to be married. Her mom, it was old school, like, you need to get married. She's pregnant with Jaden. So I get the circumstances, but her being pushed into something that she would never really fully believed in.
Right.
And so now Will Smith doesn't believe in divorce, to my understanding. And
Right.
she knows he's her life partner, like who she wants to kind of roll with. And I think he told her when they first got married, he was going to love her through anything. He didn't know it was going to be being with other people. But
Right.
I mean, that's a special kind of, people may not see it that way, but I see it's a special kind of love when you can create your own space that works for you. Maybe not for everybody else, but it works for them and they're in agreement. So what do we do? Anything anybody to say about it? And they look happy on top of it.
Well, they're talking about that Will is a simp because they put all these stipulations because men been doing it for years and it's okay, but as soon as a woman does it, she's a hoe, he's a simp, and I don't agree with that. Like you said, that's their agreement. They came to an agreement together, so their communication is bomb. Do I agree with not being monogamous? No, but that's for them.
Yeah.
That's for them. They chose each other as each other's life partner or marriage and blah blah blah. And that's what they chose. So how can you fault them? I mean, it's like he cheated and she accepted that. Was it right for her to go out and cheat or no? That's their whole thing. And we on the outside looking in can say that's messy, but it works for them. They raise their children. They're Hollywood, which is most people still they're not together. They just go their separate ways and they fighting and they're being crazy and all that kind of stuff. When you look at the Kardashians and all this foolishness that's going on with them, so you can kind of it might not be your cup of tea, but
Right.
ultimately it's their decision. And what can we really say about it? Um, I'm just going to give some definitions of marriage. Okay. And according to Oxford's dictionary, marriage is a legally or formally recognized union of two people as partners in a personal relationship.
Okay.
Historically, that's between a man and a woman. More recently, between two people. So same sex, what have you. So things are loosening up a bit biblically, and I don't know what everybody's religion is, but biblically and religiously, it's a covenant before God, whoever you worship, however you worship. That it's more than a physical, emotional, but it's like a moral commitment that you're making as a covenant to each other in front of God. So if you're a religious person or spiritual person, then that may have more significance. Um, Wow. But then you have some religions like Mormons. They consider themselves very religious people, but they can have multiple spouses.
Yeah.
Well, let me say the men can have multiple wives. Yeah, I don't see no brother husbands. See some sister
No,
wives, but I don't see brother
I don't
husbands.
believe in that. It's like
So it,
Abraham times.
yeah, it's a little double standard as usual, but
Focusing on the Old Testament, you know.
yeah. So
But
Solomon, yeah, Solomon, and there's also in some religion, Islam,
Muslims,
you can,
Islam,
yeah, they can have
yeah.
so, and even some Christians in African cultures can have more than one wife. Now,
Oh,
I don't know of any culture, so if anybody knows of a culture that a wife can have more than one husband, please go
um,
ahead and comment below.
I'm gonna get
I've
back
never seen
because
it.
I believe there is actually. I'm thinking about
Really?
my psychology class in undergrad, and we did a cultural psychology class. I do believe that there is a group or not so much religions, but cultural ethnic group out there where the women can have more than one husband. But I'm gonna come back to you guys on that. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
before we get to our next show, we're gonna definitely talk about that.
Yeah, let us know. Please let us know about that. But yeah, so there's different circumstances and again in those religions and I think everybody again that's the key word, agreement. It has
Yeah.
to be an agreement. The first wife has to agree. She probably like, yeah, nigga, I'm not.
You can bring
She was
on
like, no,
bring her
go
on
ahead and get another wife. I don't care. Leave
and
me
she gonna
alone.
cook for me too. Now she cooking
Yeah,
great.
she gonna cook and watch these bad kids.
Yeah.
Watch these kids.
Yeah,
Yeah, go
that's
ahead and get another.
you think about it like
And
that,
and
they got
some people
another partner.
and some people can't get with that. Like no. But I see it's becoming more and more acceptable in American culture and not even just in marriage, like with dating, there's no exclusivity. That's
Right.
right. People are happy to go after the man or woman who has prior commitments and children with several other different people. They don't care. That was once, and and I think it happened back in the day too. Our grandparents' time, they was doing whatever they was doing, but it wasn't acceptable for the masses. But now it just seems like even the young folks are dating. They don't have these things about being monogamous. It's just like anything goes. Oh, I'll be with her, him,
There's no rule.
them.
There's no
There's no
boundary.
rules or regulations
It's very
and
fluid.
governance.
We talk about that one time too. Very fluid
Hmm
how they flow.
So Do you think? I mean, again, if you're looking for, how hard is it if you're looking for a monogamous relationship in these days and age, and you know, to find somebody who do you think is dead? Do you think it's just dead?
I think let's talk about being 40. By the time a man or woman, and I'm in my case, I can only talk about men, get to 40, I don't know, they like burnt out, from either being married, being in a bad relationship, or but I'm getting or they've been in a relationship so long they don't remember the last time it was that they were just kind of free in air. I do find them to be more honest because I guess being 40 means embracing who you are and everybody else just got to kind of get with the program.
Get in where you fit in. I was like, whatever.
They're definitely honest, but I would definitely say that not like a epidemic or nothing. I just think it's where we are. I think people just tired of committing and they have more to lose than they did before. And so I do think that I'm not sure. I'm not going to say they don't want to be in a monogamous relationship, but I don't know if they want it to be permanent. And then I'm finding I'm being friend zoned a lot, ladies and gentlemen. And that's fine because I'm not going and saying, and people will tell you, oh, I need a husband, give me somebody, give me a boyfriend. I'm not saying that. I think what it is that I'm letting people know where I am and that I want to be monogamous, but that doesn't, that's not necessarily where a lot of them are. And not so much I want to be monogamous with them. I'm saying I don't even want to date you, and that's not where you see us ending up. Because then everybody catching feelings, and then before you know it, you're feeling for someone who doesn't want to be monogamous with you. So I need to know there's a possibility in the horizon.
I still think it's a double standard. I still think it's a double standard. I think most men still want their woman to be monogamous with them, meaning they don't want you to go somewhere, but they want to be fluid. I'd be like, oh no, it's not cool. And monogamy works for me because even when I was young, before I got married, I was like that. Even though I was dating multiple guys, once they made the decision that we're exclusive, okay, we're exclusive. But then when I realized that they're not exclusive, then I'll be like, all right, I'm dipping because I think people should honor their word. And you put these titles and limitation. Oh, you don't want me to talk to this guy. You don't want me to talk to this guy, but you out doing you. That doesn't work for me. That don't work for me. I don't know. So I would prefer monogamy for the obvious reasons. First of all, diseases. You can't just be with everybody. People acting like COVID is the worst thing. Now there's still other diseases, other things that you can get. Okay, unwanted pregnancies. If you're not willing to spend your life with this person, then you shouldn't be having babies with them. I mean, that's just I'm old school in that thinking. That's why I just said, I'm not judging. This is not a judgment call for anybody else. This is just my personal thing. I just knew that I couldn't have children by multiple people. That means I'm tired of dealing with you. I got to deal with this one too, and this one too. I just couldn't do that. I don't have the patience for it, and I don't want to go to jail. So I just realized that that's something that I did not want. Um, and I like relationships. I like being able to do. I don't want to be with someone who is doing everything with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like you going on dates, you massaging my feet, you massaging my back, you doing all the things I like, and then to think you doing that with somebody else too. No, that's not sexy at all. That's a complete turn off. And I just think that it's ugly. Monogamy is sexy. Okay, that's why everybody is had after. Well, you like Will Smith, but everybody had after Denzel and the people that's off limits because it's so.
He's sounding confused these days.
He's like so attractive because he's with this one woman, and they like, damn, that's sexy. Like when you look at his wife, Miss Pauline Washington, they be like, well, how'd she get him? Well, she got him. And people be so judgmental, but she got him, and not only she got him, she kept him. And everybody like, what's their secret? They made a commitment to each other that she gonna be monogamous, he gonna be monogamous, and it works for them. And they're in Hollywood, so they are they are the exception of the exception, and that
I would
makes them
like to point
stand
out
out.
though, even though they're doing all this, they're still very much committed to each other, Will and Jada.
Right.
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
and that's another thing. They are, but
They just
I
share their
think they're
bed with
committed.
someone
I
else.
think they're committed. I think Will is more committed to his ideals still. He doesn't want to be divorced.
Hmm.
Because I don't think any guy, any man, no man that I know would be comfortable with their wife being with somebody else. But I think he's so committed to his ideas and what he wanted to bring to the table. And this is her way of letting him do that still, even though they're not into monogamy. And what does that mean? They still, I don't know. I don't know.
It's weird
I don't know
because
how they're making it work. I
they
would
both
love
become life
to.
partners. So if you're a part of being in a marriage is partnership. Sorry guys, and friendship. So with that being said, what's the difference between what they're doing and people who bring another person into their bed?
Mm,
Are they
okay.
committed? Do people consider them less committed, or are they just doing something freaky? Like, is it what's it so like? What if they did it to spice up their marriage? Because I think what people assume all this time, and people were saying this, they were saying Will was out there. I don't know if he had more Will than Jada, and
Right.
they're saying that he was sleeping with. We've heard this over the years, right? And everybody's like, no, no, that's not them. But clearly somebody was talking, and that he admitted that he had been with several people um, outside of their marriage, of course, with her permission. But it was the thing is that I'm not sure if they're actually currently doing this now. I want to point that out, but I do know that at some point in their marriage, it was a block, and this is what they came up with to kind of not so much about sex, but or being with other people. You turn when Jada turned 40, you turn, as we know, which is this great. We're talking about our 40s.
Yeah.
She was a roadblock because she was rich, she had beautiful children, she had a wonderful husband, yet she was miserable. And when you go back to it's because I'm sorry, I'm getting therapeutic now. All that time ago, 20 years prior, she had said what? She did not really believe in marriage. And that concept didn't change. You know, it's just that at that point she hit a roadblock. And it wasn't just about that. It was just about them figuring out, well, I only do Christmas because you want to do Christmas. I really don't care for it. I really hate going on adventures with her as well. I only do it because you want to. So they came with a compromise. Okay, we'll do Christmas really big with you, and you'll go on an adventurous trip. Trip with me, just one. She don't go on all of them anymore. They came to a compromise, but they had to individually separate to kind of find themselves, and that's when all this extra stuff was happening. So now we may not agree with the way they did it, but at the end, they still got the outcome of having a better marriage. Now, I'm not saying that's for everybody, but everybody's process is different. The point is that they made it back to each other. So should we judge them that they had to go through that to do it? Because people inviting people in their beds, y'all, right now as I'm speaking, and
Yeah.
they're very
More.
happily married.
Yeah. More often than not, and that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. This
this
new
is more normal.
generation is really accepting of this, and I'm not. And no, I'm not going to make it a generational thing. I think it. I think it transcends generations because they had swingers clubs way back in the day.
Yeah,
Even before I came along, they had all this stuff. So
young people just
again,
more open. They're
I
just more
think
open
it's
about it.
yeah, and I think that part is healthy. I think the communication level, if that's what
Hmm.
you're into, if both people on the same page, That way there's no sneaking
Right.
and betrayal and nobody
Right.
assuming that this is happening, and then that's not happening. So and I think if people are more honest, yeah, then I don't know. I
It's
have
a hard.
mixed.
My
It's a
hat's
hard
off to them.
topic.
Okay.
It's a hard topic because you have to have some boundaries.
Yeah.
And then how does that discussion go? I mean, they said, does the guy come to the house? Well, August Augustina was coming to their house living there. So I'm just like,
And
what are
Will
the
Smith
boundaries?
knew.
Interact with the kids, and
Hmm.
I mean,
Will Smith. He said Will Smith. August Alsina said Will Smith. He felt weird about it. So before anything jumped off, I was looking at an interview. This is before I knew we were doing this topic. I ran into an interview that he did. Um, Will Smith. He went to Will Smith and said, "Man, I mean, everybody respects them as a couple." So I just want to point out that August Alsina said he didn't just jump on Will Smith's wife because everybody respects him, and they had been helping him. He had some drug addiction issues and stuff like that, so they had been helping him as a family. So
that's really
I
weird.
think Jaden
That's really weird.
together because being on stage and being musicians and all that stuff. So
Mm,
no, they were helping him as a family because Jada's mom had addiction problems. Jada had addiction problems at some point, so they felt like they could help him. But it was kind of like a perfect storm because this was also during the time that Will and Jada, were going through their what is this? What are we doing type phase. So they were in a
right.
shaky place. So they had already agreed they were going to get divorced or at least separate at that time. So when I don't know who made the first move or how that happened, but August was like he knew he was developing feelings and know that she was very vocal about how she felt, but he still did not just jump on Jada. He went and had a conversation out of respect with him first because it was weird. It's because he didn't meet them as a separated entity. He met them as a whole unit, a whole family.
Right.
So he didn't, he said people got it all wrong. Like I just went in there disrespecting it. And he wasn't 18 or 17. He was a grown man. He was young, but he still knew what he was getting into. And he said, if
Right.
anything, he got burned because he entered into a unit that was never going, he thought was going to split. And because of who they are to each other, they stayed together. So he was just like, look, I don't want to stay on the sidelines while you with this person, y'all figuring out what's going on. It seems like y'all getting back together.
Right.
And so actually, he stopped talking to Jada because he was getting strong feelings and it didn't seem like she was going to leave Will. They were working things out. So it was like a perfect storm, really messy.
So she ain't gonna leave Will.
Yeah, so she was never going to, she thought she was, they thought they were, but when you've been with somebody that long, I mean, who else is going? Who else would she be with? So, but it was weird because so people assume they call a Will a simp, but this man stepped to him out of respect. He said, "Look, I'm interested in your wife, and she's claiming to be interested in me. Are y'all really over?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "There is no relationship there right now." That's what he told her.
Mm.
I don't know
Well,
if
that
men can
he
do that, especially if I already know you.
August Alsina got some big cojones because if
Yeah.
some other dude might have, they'd be like, "Oh, you coming for my wife?" They might have took him out.
Mm-hmm.
He, he he was brave for doing that. Yeah.
Well, he was like, "I'm not
But
going to just
yeah.
start seeing her." I don't blame him.
Right.
But I think people thought it went down in a disrespectful way, but it actually went down the most respectful way. And she didn't say anything negative about him, but they didn't quite share that part in the interview that they did. That was never put out there.
Well, I
He
think
did
she
say I
was.
knew about it.
Some people said that they're doing it to stay in the limelight or to stay relevant. Some people say that August,
I don't want to stay relevant that
he
way.
shouldn't have he shouldn't have come out and said anything about it. He was it seemed like he was in his feelings. Like Jasmine told him, "Come get your feelings, boy." He was in his
That's,
feelings because she didn't leave, so he wanted to make it national news and force them to talk about it. Because I think they would have been not really private about it, but I think they've been, just kind of low key about like their relationship because it's their relationship. And even though they
mm-hmm,
are actors and celebrities, they don't have to
mm-hmm.
discuss their personal
He was
business.
even
But
on the
since he
show.
went out there, right, He went out. He
I
went
could
on
tell that
there
she
and
was fond of him on the
yeah,
show, but not that
yeah,
fond. I would never
right.
guess
Well,
that.
yeah,
She
that's
seemed
taking
very
fondness to a whole nother
you could
level.
tell she had feelings for him, but I thought it was more like, little brother, because they had explained that he had become a part of the family because he was on the Red Table Talk to talk about his addiction, and they known him for a long time. I mean, they played that role good because I would never guess, but you could tell that she was emotional about him being there,
Yeah,
like very
that's
emotional.
why I said affairs don't start in bedrooms. They start with
No,
conversations. And
yeah, it
so
was a good conversation.
conversations and then conversations become
Yeah.
intimate and then you just yeah. So moving somebody in your house, that's a no-no. If he's not related to you,
Mm-hmm.
that's a recipe
Yeah,
for
I read
so
that. They let him
yeah.
stay in the house and stuff.
Yeah, he let him stay in the house and probably Willow was crushing on him. She was probably crushing on him, not knowing he trying to go for his
Or her.
some
Well,
little probably
both.
smash with Willow and Jada. So they just it's crazy. Like I said, I can't judge them. I respect the fact that they are owning it. They're owning it, whatever you want to call it, swinging, polygamy. They have polyamorous. They have all these different terms, but it is what it is. Basically, you're sharing. Your wife swapping, husband sharing, whatever it is. And if they like it, I love it. I mean, like, okay, if that's what makes you happy. And that's the thing. Are you truly happy because you get to sleep with somebody else and still go to home with your husband at night? Uh, okay. I mean, that's what they want to do. This, but I don't know if she could ever be really fulfilled like that because even though he's okay with it, you still not liking the things that involve your marriage. So you don't like the things that Will does. He don't like the stuff that you do, but y'all are kind of forcing it together to play
They
out
compromising.
well, it compromising, but it seems
It's
painful.
like you got me one. Well, no. We'll talk about that. Compromising. Marriage. Love is sacrifice, and so they're saying that before she would feel forced to go on every trip and do everything he wanted to. He's like, let's jump off the plane. Let's do this. And she didn't want to do that. So now they compromise, okay, I want to do this adventure. And it's like, okay, how's this word? Okay, I'll do this adventure with you. One. And then for her, she's like, what do you want? She said, the only thing I want is everybody to be present for Christmas and participate. So everybody puts on the ugly sweaters for Christmas because that's her thing. And that's all they did. Nothing else. They came up with one thing because you gotta so it's just supporting each other and their interests. But they said she's like, look, I can only do one because let's face it, Will does some crazy stuff. So not everybody. So she gets to pick, and it's not just them; it's them as a family,
Right.
with their kids. So the kids are normally down, to do both, but she really did not like doing it all this time and not being able to tell him that is the bondage part. Not being able to share that and like you said and be honest and communicate is a part that
Yeah.
made me feel like she was in bondage. So they were like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't like doing that. She's like, I really don't. But I'll do one thing if you do Christmas. And that's how they've been rolling for years. He's happy because she's on the adventure. The one adventure that he picked that she's like, okay, I can do that. And he's happy. She's happy that he'll come and do the Christmas stuff that he really don't get the point of. But he
So
knows it
they're
makes
like, so they eventually, ultimately turn into like friends. They have a friendship, and they ultimately turn into like, because you can't really say that's a marriage. I don't know. Can you? If they're seeking
that's
other
their
people,
marriage.
they're seeking the companionship, purposely seeking the companionship of other people.
But you know what's interesting? When I did look at that table talk, she said something interesting. Jada did. She said she realized that even if some other woman moved in, even if he fell in love with someone else or wanted to be with someone else, she was always going to be in the picture. She just has to move in. She just has to know that she's going to be a part of that. So what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Like she said, I knew through all that, this was my person, and I was never going anywhere. And she said, because now I know more of who I am. But before, in her 40s, she didn't know what she wanted. And now, because they're allowing each other to give each other space and be who they are individually, the marriage is better. But she said she knew when she tried this process that she could never leave Will, because she couldn't imagine her living her life out with anybody else. And even if she said he did find somebody that he wanted to be with, they would just have to move in the house. She's like, because she wasn't going anywhere, because nothing could ever tear the relationship they have apart. They've had too many years and too much of a bond, and that's what she said. And I was like, wait a minute, Jada, we moving another woman in? I think what she meant was that it was her suggestion. I mean, her fault, quote unquote. Like, that started this, I guess. Not her fault.
All right, Robyn, you can go ahead and get Will now.
Nah, I ain't moving in there. But that's what she said.
And it will all come over for Christmas.
I was like, I don't know about that. I said, that's a whole nother level of relationship that I don't think most of us going to ever get to. When you know somebody's your person to the point that it's like, no matter what, you're still going to be my person, whether that involves us being intimate or not. We still going to have this relationship. So I'm like, they have reached a whole nother plateau of what it means to be life partners that most people will never, and not to saying that's what they wanted, because I don't think from what they're describing, they're not doing that now. But at that time in their life, she's saying if he found somebody, then she would have to understand, because she set the stage for that, But they would have to understand too that she wasn't leaving her house. They were going to always have relationships, but they have kids, and they couldn't X her out. Like, not that she wouldn't be first, but she's like, we would have to all be friends. That's what it would have to be, because he's not going anywhere.
With his ex-wife.
Yeah, she goes on vacations with him.
Yeah.
They do some different stuff.
They got some sister wives type of thing.
Situation going on.
But let me tell you, that ain't happening. So Howard can think about it all he wants to. Let me just tell you, I don't share. The two things I don't share my food, and I don't share my man. I'll buy you something to eat.
That's why I said they want something special.
Yeah, they want something different. I can't.
But I think
I'm very territorial,
and
I don't say selfish with my attention, but like I said, I don't want you giving another woman the same attention that you're giving me. Yeah. Or not giving me. Even if we having marital problems or whatever we're having.
Even if she started it, but I don't know.
You're not going to get the best of, no. And I think you're not going to get the best of what I put in. All these years that I didn't put in, hey, I didn't put in time. Yeah. So you're not coming in when everything is smoothed out and put my time and energy and effort and babies, and then you come. No, that's not how that goes. That's not how that's gonna happen.
I guess they like some. If you're a life partner, that could be a friend for life or whatever. They just, he don't want nobody else. She don't want nobody else now. But they went through a whole lot to get there, and I think a lot of couples do. They're just not. They don't have to be public with their business. I don't think they're the only couple that went through some kind of crazy phase like that to figure it out.
Sure not.
Yeah.
I'm sure not.
It's just the way they talk about it is weird. It's weird to people because they're like, you talking about moving another woman in to the house if that's what he wanted, but you're not going anywhere. People don't. I get it from people now don't shoot me. I'm not saying this off of some, just out of I do have a degree. I do have study. I do work with couples. I'm saying that whatever is healthiest, what is normal? Normal is whatever is healthiest for you. It doesn't matter what other people think or whatever. Because it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, they are happy in their unit. It doesn't matter how people view it or whatever. You can't say to them, oh, you should be unhappy because you chose to do it this way. It's just kind of not quite how it works. And it's not your situation. It's about you doing whatever in your marriage or your relationship that makes you happy. And that they got to whatever their normal is to be able to function and be happy. Not what we think their normal should be.
I agree with that.
I
Like
just
I said,
I
it's
wouldn't
two
do it.
people have to have that talk.
Yeah.
Now, you can't have one person that's not. Both people, like I said, gonna have to be on the same page, or it's not going to be well. And then
Definitely.
how do you get to that point? Like, if you start off monogamous, how do you get to that point? They said, I think somewhere in their article, it said they had been monogamous, but they felt like they were in prison, and so
Mm-hmm.
they both decided um,
Spice it up a
to
little
see other
bit.
people. Um, so I'm thinking, I wish I could get them on the show.
I was
I
too.
really do, because
Mainly
I
because it
have
happened
a
in their
lot of
40s.
questions.
It happened when they
Right.
hit 40. That's the main thing. You know,
And
because it
people,
happened in their 40s.
and we're going to talk about midlife crises because I want to know exactly what that is in clinical terms and what that looks like in real life terms
It's just
for
really just
people.
middle adulthood. I don't know. It's a
People
clinical
start
term.
really stressing out and doing things that they would never normally do. They go on wild spending sprees of things, relationship things. It's
Yeah,
a lot of things that you would never think about doing, or you know, it's crazy.
it's true.
People, they said that people buy Corvettes, dye their hair, cut their hair, shave their hair, or just all kind of things that you wouldn't normally do because you feel like so much time has passed that you didn't get to do these things, and so you just be like, ah. But
It's definitely
we're gonna talk about that
interesting.
on the next episode.
We're definitely talking. We're definitely talking about the right age group because it's just interesting that all this stuff started happening when they threw her a big 40th birthday party. That's exactly the time in her life at 40 where she just felt,
Poor Jada.
trapped. If you're a
And
40-year-old
poor Will.
woman or over 40, some people can definitely understand. Like, it's just when your relationship hits a brick wall, becomes stale, um, you do feel trapped. And then you have communication with the person, in which I believe she tried to, but just listening to the table talk at the time, Will Smith got defensive, at first, because like you would say, he wanted to keep this ideal of, marriage and what he felt marriage should be, not really
Mm-hmm.
looking at not just Jada, the kids or her
Right.
and what they wanted. Everybody was singing in the band and performing and, on stage and
Like the
in
Jackson
movies.
5.
Yeah, it was like Jackson 5 without the abuse. So it wasn't real. They weren't having a real life. Jada, a real girl from Baltimore. You know, don't get me wrong. I think they felt definitely blessed, but it's kind of weird when you feel like you live in an alternate life.
Right.
That's not something you imagine yourself to be in. When something happens in your marriage you didn't expect, like,
And
wait,
she said she wanted to be on a farm or something.
she wanted to be like chill on a farm or something like that. And I think it's good that, I think if anything, it caused them to listen to each other, because that wasn't happening before, until Will really saw, oh my God, she is really miserable because of me. And she's like, no, it's not because of you. It's just that I compromised things that I should have never compromised way back when. She never really wanted to be married, but now their relationship
But
and the
why did
bond.
she? That's
Her
another
mama
question.
told her, you better marry him. You are pregnant.
So she did what her mama said.
Pretty much. And Will
Mm.
really wanted, he didn't want his child, he didn't want to just have a child. He never had a child out of wedlock. He didn't want something similar you were saying. You wanted all your kids to have your values. You want all your kids to be with the same man. And he didn't want to have a child and that mother of his child be a baby mama. He even married his first wife before they got pregnant. So
Right.
that was a value that he wanted and her mom wanted. She loved him and she loved her mom. But she said she really never believed in the concept of marriage like that. But
Mm.
she does believe in this partnership they have, and now that they're in it, she doesn't want to get divorced either. She don't see the point after all this time. They put,
No.
like you said, she put so much energy into it. She don't want nobody,
Yeah, you
put so
put a
much
lot of
work
time
into
and
it.
energy into that. You don't want to just see it thrown away, especially if
Yeah.
it's more good than if it's
It's
more good
bad.
than bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got more good things in your marriage or your relationship, um, then don't
Mm-hmm.
mess it up. I guess that's the bottom
Is that the
line.
thing?
Does
Or
that
even if
mean
you do mess it
accept
up, find your way
anything?
back to each
No.
other.
Right. But
If
does
it'll
that
work
mean
it.
accept anything though?
No,
Like
it doesn't. It
if you're
means
not
start
happy,
talking.
right, you need to open up your communication and
A
let them
lot.
know this is not what you want. And if they can't accept that, then that's not the person for you.
No, no.
I mean, it's easier said than done, but you're not going to change because if that person wants to be monogamous and you don't, or vice versa,
Mm-hmm.
and you're miserable. So wait, is that a compromise though? You said it's about compromising. So if that's the one thing, all right, well, I know you don't want to be monogamous, but if you love me, I need you to be monogamous.
That would be the one thing. Yeah.
And then that person, if they really love you, they will.
Mm-hmm. That's a
So
compromise. I mean, I'm not, so what I like about what they did, Will still gets to be his adventurous self, and she still gets to celebrate her favorite holiday that gives her the most joy.
right.
They're supporting each other in their dreams, in their pursuits. And I think those things are important. Um, it's a compromise, but is it really bad when it makes your spouse or your partner happy? Is
But
that
then
the whole point?
it's a flip side to the coin because making you're making your partner happy by
It's
agreeing
reciprocal.
that they can
It's
sleep
not
with
without you
somebody else.
getting something back. That's the thing. What's happening in these relationships, one person is making the other happy and the other person is not participating. So it can't be one-sided. If you're going to compromise, it has to me, I don't think it's fair for one person to compromise and the other person doesn't. I think both parties need to, compromise means, even though this makes me uncomfortable, because I love you, I'm going to do this. I want to do this act. And when I'm uncomfortable, I don't mean they're asking you to shoot yourself in the foot. I mean, just something that shows you, and it doesn't have to be that. Like, scary movies are not my thing. That might not be the one thing I could compromise on. I don't know. Maybe I'll sit with my eyes closed. They're like, I really want you to go to this movie with me. I would go. But we have to. That's why you have communication, and you kind of work out what things you can kind of do together and work out. Okay, I'll go to this baseball game with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about stuff that's like life altering, and I'm talking about, interest. I may not like going to a car show, but I walk around and hold my man's hand at the car show. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, that's
That's
interest
different.
driven based, but I'm talking about when it comes to sex, that's a little bit deeper than
Oh yeah, we're not
interest.
talking about. And then the thing is that we're assuming that they're not. They never say anything about their sex being bad or that wasn't good.
No, 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 not that,
Yeah.
not that. It's just saying to me, it's like, okay, you're not happy.
You're talking about non-negotiable.
Yeah, non-negotiable. So
Okay.
you're not. I can't be happy knowing that I don't make you happy because you want to go out there and find somebody else. What's the point of us being together because we got kids or because we can go on Christmas trips or adventure trips together and we build this time? If you're not I can't be happy for you wanting to be with somebody else. So
Right.
that
And I
means
think
that
that's why they split. They did split. They did
right.
stop. They did split. That's how August even got a chance, because they did split up. But I think the bigger thing is that it sounds like when they got out there, they
They saw
realized it was
that
not, some SHIT, so to speak.
right.
It was like, yeah, I found connections, but no safer connection than the one that I'm
Nothing real stable
personally.
that right.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so he allowed her to make the mistake and see that
And he
hey,
did
I'm the
too.
best that you have.
Pretty much.
I'm the best that you have. So you can go out there if you want to. You're gonna get some more crazy
What I
Faustina.
respect is that they both, because they had broken up, they could be open about it because it was a split. They were living in the same home, but he told August, we are not together. We are not in a relationship. So they had secretly split up and they didn't tell anybody. And who would know, because he's making movies and she's doing shows, and I think she was doing that nurse show at Hawthorne or something at the time. So who would know when movie stars doing their own thing? Nobody would think any differently because they weren't in the same home. You know, that's what a lot of actors do. But they did split up. They did not compromise that. They did split up. I think going out there, it's like, don't nobody ride for me harder than this person. So I'm just gonna make my way back. But
don't nobody have my back.
Yeah.
Regardless. Right. Nobody's seen you in your best and your worst, and still want to be there for you.
Right.
So, you know, behind the scene of the glitz and glamour, or the you know, the fun times, you know. Right. So who else would be?
Which is why I said I don't know if they're doing this now.
I get that part.
They're both 50 now. She just turned 50. Jada just turned 50. So I don't know, 40 is a decade and we act up and then we get ourselves back together. I have no idea. I know I was acting up a little bit.
But they say 40s, what did it say? Old enough to know, but young enough to grow.
Young enough to grow. That's what we're doing here. So they were old enough to know, but now they've grown, and the relationship, according to them, is better than ever. That's why I said, who are we to judge their process?
Right.
And how they got
That's
there.
why I say I don't judge it. Everybody's been coming for them, and I'm like, not. You know, they was coming for with Jada with the entanglement.
Don't talk about
Will. Yeah, don't. And I was just like,
I like Jada too, though. I like Jada too.
Yeah, they was coming for them, and they still trying to come for her. Talking about some, she's like R. Kelly, because I said they don't have no proof. And the young man, may he rest in peace, Chris Kelly of Chris Cross. That's another topic.
He's not even here to talk about it.
He's not even here to say whether it happened or not. And you know, it's a double standard for everything in this country. Let's just say that. I don't agree with anybody sleeping with underage kids. It's just wrong. If that is, if that
have proof before you put it out there.
But exactly.
I haven't seen any.
And again, the young man might have lied. I know people who have lied about their age. Like I said, he might have lied. You
can't go on somebody else's word. He has to be the one to say it. Those girls are saying and testifying and making movies and documentaries, and this is what happened.
And boys. Everybody, and boys, boys, and the people inside his camp are saying that he did it. So it's like, you know, will I stop listening to his music? No, because it's already out there, and R. Kelly has some good music. I'm not gonna boycott him and put him, but I do believe some of the parents and family members took an important role with that as well. Because I would have snatched my daughter up out of there and whipped R. Kelly's ass. But like we would have been jumped. My family would have rolled deep. My family be over R. Kelly house and jumping them. Nigga, get on.
You said he rolled deep. That's funny.
Yeah, my family would have rolled. We would have went over there and got our daughter back, or whoever was over there. Yeah, that's how we roll.
I can imagine your father coming for him.
Oh gosh, R. Kelly there will be no R. Kelly. They be like, "Where's my daughter?" I can see my mother calling her now. You've been over R. Kelly house and he won't let her go. My father be like, "Oh yeah, y'all know where he live." And so no, I just and I wouldn't. Now I'm not gonna say I wouldn't. Some of these little girls are too fast tail. They are way after these grown men. These men will tell them their age and they still be after them. And now that's one thing for sure. When I was a teenager, and nobody can tell me that they 30, 40 and I'm checking for them. It was just no way. No. I don't care, celebrity or not.
D.L. Hughley put out a statement, and one of our coworkers actually, former coworker, she actually posted a statement. But he said, if you won't listen to R. Kelly songs because of the horrible things he's done, but still barbecue and celebrate Independence Day, you're a hypocrite. He's saying Thanksgiving, we still celebrate a lot of music. We still listen to a lot of things. We still do.
We do.
It's a part of American culture, just like Robert E. Lee and all these people they trying to tear down. And
the worst. We still look at Woody. Well, I never looked at Woody Allen movies, but people still watching Woody Allen movies. And he's the biggest perv. Like, he is big time perverted. Even though he waited till she became an adult to marry her, he was grooming her the whole time. you married your daughter. That's the
Yeah.
nastiest. That's
But
the
they still
nastiest
play
thing. And
his
they
movies.
still play his movies. They still hold him in high esteem because he's an
That
accomplished
producer
actor.
that slept with everybody, the famous whatever producer of Hollywood, whoever he was that produced all the
Weinstein.
movies. Mm-hmm.
Weinstein.
I bet they didn't stop playing his movies.
Nope, they
And he's
don't.
involved in a lot of movies and a
So
lot of stars' careers. Now, I'm not saying what he did, he
yeah,
got everything. Now, I'm not saying they all did. Justice is being served with R. Kelly, with him. So no, but I'm just saying, I don't.
yeah.
I,
I'm
I don't
saying
think
don't
it's
judge
fair
me when
to
I
ask
listen to an R.
people
Kelly song.
to do that. Yeah, I don't think it's fair to
That
put
don't
that
mean
on
I
other
support
people. I'm
him or
not saying what
anything that
I
he
do,
did.
but I'm just saying it's not fair. I don't think it's fair to ask other people to do something, and when we're still listening into other things and other music and stuff that's been and other stars who've
Right.
had a negative light. I'm just saying if you're going to do it for one, do it for everybody. We wouldn't have nothing in
Right.
America right now if that was the case.
Right. That is so true. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. If you've tuned into 4T, as we get past the technical difficulties, we always
Sorry,
have something good to talk
I'm in the
about.
struggle.
Let us know what you think about the topic. I mean, I don't think monogamy is dead, but I do think it's a personal choice between two people, how far you want to, or how bad you want to keep your relationship intact.
Yeah,
And if you want to be exclusive, that's something that both people have to agree upon. Um,
yep.
and
And
again, that's
exclusivity
based
might
on
include other people, other situations in the marriage, but as long as you guys communicate and set boundaries within your
right,
marriage about how you want that to play out. Because the truth is, people do those things. What Will and Jada are doing is not new. Um,
right,
the only thing that's different about this is that they did it and they came back. A lot of people
yeah,
don't make it back to each other after something like
right. And they just need to know that, I mean, they should sign a hush order agreement.
that. Everybody
But
needs to sign an
I think
NDA agreement.
I think it eliminates like hurt and
People business coming
betrayal.
out later.
Yeah, and then they'd be like, "Oh, wait."
Clearly, August didn't
So,
sign one. He making
oh,
songs
yeah,
and
he
everything.
must not have because that's
He sounded good in
terrible.
those songs though.
But he's like a child, and to me that means he was never a grown man. He couldn't stand on his own square. He kissing and telling. That's little boy stuff. I'm sorry. he he was young, but yeah, that's just messy. So I mean, again, that's their personal business. But I mean, if you're dating, just know that it's going to be real hard to find that monogamy because
Yeah.
so many people are willing to accept not having it. Um,
Yeah.
they're making it hard for I'm sorry, bro.
We're gonna we're
They're
gonna we're
making
gonna
it
have
they're making it
we're
hard
gonna
for the
have
soldiers out
a
there that want monogamy. They're
we
making
should
it
talk about
hard,
monogamy.
but
We should have a
it's
group
still
about
people
that.
out there that believe in that.
Yeah, we should have some
Mm,
people on there to talk about monogamy, like whether whether they are having a hard time. I mean, don't get me wrong. I believe dating is dating. So if I'm dating you, we're not monogamous. Dating is not monogamy. You need to maybe we have a show about that. Dating
but if you say you're
is not
exclusive, okay,
monogamy.
so at a point in your dating,
But some people are dating and they're thinking they're exclusive. No, it has to be a conversation. It has to be, you
right,
just don't be
right. That's what
exclusive.
I'm
People
saying.
need to
If you
understand
but
when
if
you
they
meet a
give you
man, you're not
if they give
automatically
you we're
exclusive.
exclusive, I don't want you seeing anybody else, and you
Right.
I don't okay, but you're not seeing anybody else, but then you still slide into people's DMs
Right.
and you
Okay.
still talk,
So let's
then
talk about people
come
being
on now.
shady.
That's what I'm saying. It's like no need to play this game. Either you're monogamous or you're not, and you
Yeah.
just need to be upfront about it and just
Yeah.
just let the person know, hey, this is what's happening with me right now. You with me or you not? Okay, well, you're not with it, then let's just keep it moving. But I like this, and if they don't, that's not what they want, then just keep it moving. You don't have time to waste time and try to change somebody's mind because obviously that's not what they want.
Right. Right. Well,
But
I
if
guess
two people can agree on it, then yeah, that works for them. Like I
they're
said,
still
if they like
together.
it, I love it. I love. We had a viewer that said we are the. I love that. I'm going to keep saying that quote. We are the red table talk for real people.
Oh, really? Oh,
So
wow.
I take that as a huge compliment because I love the red table talk. I really do. They
I'm
have some
definitely
very
a Jada
good comments
fan.
on there. Yes,
And
and they
I
have
appreciate them for being honest and putting themselves
right.
out there. That's not nobody wants to do that now.
No,
No.
no, but that's really
She had
cool
no choice, but
that they are working it out.
yeah.
And shout out to people who are able to be monogamous with each other. That's an awesome
That's a
thing.
hard thing to do.
That's a yes. I'm like all those women who come for Denzel. I'm sure he probably get more. And I said, Lord have mercy.
But you know what?
I don't know.
When you don't
I
think that
don't
you can
know
get
that
any
I was.
better, you won't do that. Men won't do
No,
that.
and he just be like, he was like, my woman has been with me before I came up, and she even showed me real love when I was a broke actor trying to make ends meet.
He was still fine though.
Why would I betray her? He was like, yeah, these women are fine. They throw themselves, but I'm not even gonna give them an opportunity. Nope. We're keeping it professional. If
She
I'm
don't
not
like
getting
she
paid
play
to
though.
act on screen, we
Mrs.
don't come
Washington
my
don't
way.
like she play though. She
No,
don't
she
like she
probably
play at all.
she be like, oh, really? And I'm sure they probably had conversations and
You're probably coming
seeing
for
him
his son
acting,
now.
doing love scenes and stuff. But
Yeah.
she seemed like she's older than him, so she seemed like she's just a little
Oh, okay.
more mature.
Hmm.
I think she's like 7 years older than him.
Really?
Yeah.
She don't look it. You look
She's like,
good,
look,
Mrs. Washington. You look good, and she's a actress in her
yeah,
own. I'm sorry, maybe it's actor now for everyone, but
actress.
in her
And
own right.
she
Yes,
just seemed very secure.
she's
She
acted
seemed like
before
she's very
him. She had a
secure in
job
their
before him.
marriage.
Let's point that out.
Yeah, she seemed like she just be like, "What you gonna do?" And he
Mm-hmm.
just like he probably respects that. Like she's not constantly clocking.
Or
She just seemed
Denzel
like
could have somebody sign an NDA.
he said, "Yeah, well, he probably do. He probably like if you ever say anything, I will.
I'm stopping
He
them
going to jail.
payments. Let me stop now.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I'm sure he's a man in Hollywood. I'm sure maybe
No,
one
he's
of them
been
love
tempted.
scenes he actually slipped. It was a rumor that he had slept with the Latino lady that he played in the
Oh, Rosario
her name?
Dawson. Rosario Dawson.
No, I forgot, but it was a rumor. He shut that down quick. He shut that down. You heard about it one day, and then the next day you ain't hear about
Oh
that
yeah, I
thing no
didn't.
more. He was like, oh, "Okay, so we about to a lawsuit going to be inspiring his." But I know I'm off topic,
Because
but
he
shout out to people who
yeah.
can and who are monogamous.
Yeah.
And shout out to people who are doing their thing and making it work to stay together, despite what that looks like. It's out their private business. So yeah, it's just, and they like I said, if they like it, I love it. So I can't live somebody else's truth, but she's happy and Will's happy, and that's all that matters. So, what are you willing to do? It can be done. It is being done, but just make sure y'all on the same page.
Yes.
And
And
we're gonna
communicate.
get somebody monogamous for you, Robyn. We're gonna get hey, it might not be you. I tell you, you like Will Smith, he's available.
Now, yeah, I don't know now. You
You
know,
can move in with Jada Pinkett.
I could probably move in with them. That
Yeah,
might
you
be.
can
They
live
showing
live
me a
that
lot of.
thing.
If I had to marry into a couple situation, that'd probably be like a very fun. And then people like they ain't stable, but for the most part, they've been pretty stable for a long time. Let's give them some
Yeah.
credit. They seem like
Whatever
a
that
lot of fun. Jada just put a roller skate ring in the backyard. I mean, I would have so much fun. So yeah, if I ever flip and go to the other side and become a throuple with someone, why not be Jada and Will? You know, rich
All right, here y'all
down to
have it,
earth.
ladies and gentlemen. Robyn's gonna go be
I'll
Jada and
go with
Will.
the throuple. If I had to pick, that's not a bad pick, right? I'm definitely ain't doing this Joe Blow in my neighborhood.
just invite me over for Christmas.
Yeah.
I'll
And
be
the
like,
family
hey,
trips.
everybody.
The
I'm gonna
family
be on the
trips.
red table talk.
No, they seem like a really cool family. So I wish them luck. I really do.
Yeah.
In their
I
journey.
wish them luck. God bless them. It's a lot. Relationships are a lot, and for them to put this much effort and thought into whatever they got going on is
They went
awesome.
deep into it.
Yeah, they did.
Deeper than my mind, and I analyze stuff. I analyze stuff 24/7, deeper than I would have ever thought about it. They gave me some aha moments, listening to them, like, wow, okay, this is a whole nother level that I actually talk about with, sometimes with clients, because now they give me a new perspective of love and what that looks like. It's on a higher level. I don't think I'm quite there yet for that level, but maybe hopefully I'll be there one day.
I don't think I will ever ascend to that point. I have a sharing issue. I don't know. I can't shit.
It just means ascending to, just mainly, ladies and gentlemen, just ascending to not so much what they're doing, but to the point where it's not about those little things anymore. Those little stuff. It's about, look how much we put into each other. Look what we've created. Do you want to keep this or not?
I get that part. Like, we're not fussing about dumb shit.
We don't gotta be cheating and all that.
Excuse my French.
Bringing women into the, we're not
Yeah,
saying.
we don't have to go that far.
Right.
But arguing about dumb stuff, little petty stuff.
Yeah.
Beyond that point. So yeah, I get that part. Yeah, that part right there is I'm feeling.
And that's what they were doing. That's what was happening.
Yeah.
That's true. By a certain level and certain time, you should be like, okay, this is my person. Do you? I love you.
Right.
That's how I feel. I mean, other people can disagree. That's how 4T feels.
That's right. You heard it first. So again, okay, so we wrapped this up the last time, but we will wrap it up again.
Happy. We're doing
Breast Cancer
Awareness Month. I know you can't tell it's not tan, it's a light pink, and I got pink on the lip.
And I got on my pink sweatshirt because it was a little chilly this evening, but yes, so we are definitely
happy breast
all
cancer.
The ladies
and brothers breast cancer awareness month. Yeah,
having breast cancer awareness who are going through it. Yeah. Shout out to you guys. We're praying for you and we're rooting for you.
Yep,
that's right. So go ahead and knock it out. And thank you all for joining us. 4T in my hoarse voice. Oh my gosh, that sounds terrible. But thank you all for joining us. Again, we are a blogcast. We coined that, okay? Nobody else has it. Blogcast. Because we're going to talk about it. We're going to do it. We're going to show you how it's done in your 40s, okay? Mm-hmm. We got a lot of good topics coming up. So be sure to join us each and every Sunday at 8 o'clock. And hopefully...
Sorry, it's a little late.
So, yeah, we're a little late today, but every Sunday at 8, we will be on YouTube, Facebook. Yeah, something like that. Go ahead and check out our old shows, okay? All right. Thanks for joining us. Y'all have a wonderful week.
Have a good week.
And we're still on YouTube.